Cool. All right, I think this is making sense. We go to the front view. Actually, I think I meant to go to the side view. I'm going to go to vertex mode and then just kind of modify these so that we're capturing that curve a little bit more closely. Important to do this from the side view so that I can make sure I'm getting a nice, everything's nice and aligned. And as far as this goes, I basically need these to line up with that that center point, but or the center line there. But an easier way to do that it exists, and I'll show you here in a second. And this might feel like a little bit inconsistent in terms of like how much intersection there is, but it's probably no more or less than you would get if you were doing it with just by eyeballing. And I think this is probably saving time. You could always just retop it, just the way that I've done everything else. So let's go ahead and do a connect here in Edit Mesh Connect. I'm going to open that menu again. And then I'm going to do another bridge. And a connect. We'll go to the front view now. And make a little adjustment there. Probably now that we've got that stuff, we can get a little more breathing room over there. And I think I'm probably going to do one more in this little space there. Oops. This might be overkill considering how small this thing is, but it's better to have a little bit more than you need because it's usually pretty easy to remove that stuff. All right, and then finally, I'm going to just extrude this face. Try to find that midpoint. I think that's the front view. Looks like it's got a little bit of a rotation on it. Maybe not. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'll probably just go ahead and we'll do this a little bit differently. I'm going to just bridge right across there, and then we can add some edge loops inside to get that curvature. And we'll do a bridge. Going to insert with edge flow. There shouldn't be any change because the incoming edges are pretty consistent. But now that we've got that change, we should be able to at least approximate the curvature here. Make sure you do double click to get the whole ring. And I'm going to orient these edges so they're like a little bit more perpendicular to what's going on here. So we'll go to the right view, sorry, the front view. And then I'm just going to rotate just so we have like that shape is a little bit better supported. And then we can add a few more little connections here. And isn't that nice how it just generally conforms? Obviously that one was a little bit off. Maybe this one will be off too. Yeah. Just getting a strange signal there, but not a problem. Okay. So now let's go ahead and do a mirror operation on this. Go ahead and just delete all this stuff. We don't need any of the history on it, and we don't need any of the transformations. I don't think it'll mess it up, but anyway, they're zeroed out. It's no big deal. We don't have to worry about that. All right, mesh and mirrors in here somewhere, and we want to mirror it across the z-axis, I believe. Great. And you can see we've got like a little bit of a kind of a flat spot there. So just to make sure, oh, looks like I forgot to Hold Control and Backspace to get rid of those verts. All right, let's do another connect here. Get that edge flow. And you can see we're a little bit off, which isn't really all that difficult to fix. It's just a little bit strange. Can't quite figure out. Maybe there's something weird about this. Let me do just to see if it moves. Yeah. Okay, so that thing is actually, this isn't centered. That's the problem here. And I'm not sure why freezing or centering the pivot, it should, well, this is what it is. So I'm going to grab all of these faces. I don't really want to do a scale. I'm going to just delete this chunk in the middle there. And we'll just kind of scoot these over so that they're approximately where they need to be. Sometimes when you're dealing with geometry that's created in a different different tool, you could just have some strange understanding about exactly what its bounding box information is. I think that's probably what's going on there. Okay, let's see. We'll go ahead and do a bridge, and then a connect. All right, so that was not too terrible, I don't think. But what I want to do now is make it a little bit more circular. It may not be necessary, and it's certainly going to add a lot of polygons. Like currently we're sitting at whatever, 372 polygons, which for that little feature is kind of a lot. It's not terrible. But what I want to do is basically put a bevel on these edges here. Everything looks like it got connected. Okay, cool. So let's go to Edit Mesh and then Bevel. And that value actually looks pretty good. Cool. And if I set up the mesh display to soften these edges, that looks pretty good. But we went from whatever to now we're at 748, which is also kind of a lot. But hey, it is what it is. Let's see if it still lines up with the that other thing that we just modified. Wherever it went. There we are. So that's pretty good. Awesome. All right, so now how do we've got all this stuff we can zero out, but how do we get our new mesh, our new retop to follow along? It's very simple. Let me go ahead and get my naming stuff. So we'll just call this like clip high. And this one can be clip low. I'm going to delete the history on clip low. Again, everything is like subject to baking, right? I think it's probably going to be okay. Looks like we're doing a pretty good job on the silhouette. Also, it is a very small feature. But all right, so we've got the low poly here. What we're going to do is we're basically just going to parent it to the high poly. So there's a few ways we can do that. The easiest is to you select the child, and then you select what you want to be the parent, and you just tap the P key. So you can see now if I open this up, it's going to go ahead and whatever we do with the parent is going to happen to the child. So if I go to the parent and I zero out the transforms, the child has come along for the ride. So at this point I can unparent, and you can see now it's got all kinds of random stuff going on there that we also don't want. So I'm just going to go to edit, modify freeze transforms. So now clip high and clip low have the same zeroed out transform information. They are in the exact same spot. And we were able to take advantage of being able to move things easily up and down a world space to make sure that that was not that difficult of an operation to complete. So, all right, we will look at the next few little pieces of geo in the next video.